Hi there, Samsung fans. Some of you might be Samsung Galaxy S series fans, and some might be Z series fans, and some might be flip phone fans, and some might be foldable Samsung Galaxy Z phones fans. But which Samsung mobile is actually made for you? Let's dive into the video. Samsung Galaxy S25. So it's a beautiful phone which might fit in your one hand palm and you can use it with your thumb if you're a one hand user like me. But what are the network technology it has? What are the camera quality it has? What is the display resolution? What's the battery power? What are the storage variants? Let's dive into the video and let's see what Samsung Galaxy S25 has for us. Samsung Galaxy S25 specifications. Network technology. It has GSM, CDMA, HSPA, EVDO, LTE and 5G. What are the status of this mobile? It has been launched on 2025 February 3. Wow, it's a brand new mobile. Okay, what are the body dimensions of this phone? 146.9 into 70.5 into 7.2 mm, which is 5.78 into 2.78 into 0.28 inch. What are the weight of this mobile? It is just 162 gram or 5.71 ounce. Okay, what is the build quality of this mobile? So it is made up of Gorilla Glass Victus 2 glass front and Gorilla Glass Victus 2 glass back as well, and it has aluminium frame for the strong grip on the sides. So okay, what is the SIM type and what are the network it actually allows you? So I have already said about the network, so let's talk about the SIM type. It's a nano SIM. It has actually another eSIM or eSIM plus max 2 at a time, or you can use like dual nano SIMs. It's up to you. So it has actually 2 SIM slots. You can use 2 nano SIM or 2 eSIM. It's your wish. So let's talk about what are its IP6 rating for the dust and water resistant. So it has IP68 dust tight and water resistant, immersible up to 1.5 meter for up to 30 minutes. So you can actually drop your phone up to 30 minutes for up to 1.5 meters deep. Okay, let's talk about the powerful frames. So it has armor aluminum 2 frame. Okay, what's the display type here? It has dynamic LTPO AMOLED 2 into 120 Hz HDR10 2600 nits. It is the peak one. Okay, what are the sizes of the display? It is 6.2 inches, which is 94.4 centimeter. Another thing is 61.1% or 91.1% screen to body ratio. Okay, let's talk about the resolution. It is 4K display with 1080 into 2340 pixels with 19:9 ratio with 416 pixel per inch density. Okay, what are the protection it has? It has Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2 protection. Always on display is another option for this mobile. Okay, what are the platforms? So it's an Android phone. It does work on Android operating system. It has the latest Android 15 OS, and Samsung is actually offering you to freely upgrade to next 7 version of Androids if you're buying a Samsung Galaxy S25 devices. So it will be coming with the Android 15 and you can have up to 7 updates, like up to 22 I guess so. So it has the Samsung Galaxy One UI 7 which has been built on the top of Android 15 OS. Okay, let's talk about the chipset. It has Qualcomm SM8750A8 Snapdragon 8 Elite exclusively built for Samsung Galaxy S device. And talking about the CPU, it has octa-core 2 into 4.47 GHz Orion V2 Phoenix L plus another 6 into 3.53 GHz Orion V2 Phoenix M processors. And talking about the GPU, it has Adreno 830. And talking about the memory card slot, it doesn't have one. Talking about the internal storage, it has actually 3 storage options, which is 128 GB of storage memory with 12 GB of RAM, and it has 256 GB of storage memory with 12 GB of RAM, and 512 GB of storage memory with another 12 GB of RAM. So it has like 3 types of storage variants with 12 GB of RAM each, and 128 GB, 256 GB and 512 GB of storage variant. Let's talk about the main rear cameras. It has actually triple camera on the back. The primary camera is of 50 MP with f by 1.8 24 mm wide and 1 by 1.56 inch. Another one is 10 MP camera with f by 2.4 66 67mm telephoto camera, and another one with 12MP f by 2.2 30mm with 120-degree ultra wide camera. So it has like three different cameras for the three different purposes. And talking about the features of this camera, it has a best face detection, LED flash, auto HDR, panorama. And let's talk about the video quality of this mobile. So you can actually shoot in 8K quality at 24 frames per second or 8K quality with 30 frames per second. And talking about the 4K video, you can either shoot on 30 frames or 60 frames per second, and you can also shoot it on full HD, which is 1080p with 30 or 60 or 120 or 240 frames per second. And talking about the HDR, it has 10-bit HDR, HDR plus, HDR 10 plus, stereo sound recording, gyro EIS. And talking about the front camera or selfie camera, it has a single 12MP camera with f by 2.2 26mm wide camera, and it has a pixel PDAF option as well, and it has a feature of HDR and HDR 10 plus. Talking about the video, 4K at 30 or 60 frames per second and 1080p at 30 frames per second. Let's talk about the loudspeakers. Yes, it has a stereo speaker right there. And let's talk about the wire, 3.5mm jack. It doesn't have one, so there is no option for you to plug in a 3.5mm jack here. So let's talk about the audio quality. It has 32-bit 384 kHz audio, and it is tuned by AKG. Let's talk about the WLAN. So it has a Wi-Fi of 802.11 ABGNs AC 6E7 options with the tri-band and Wi-Fi direct as well. Let's talk about the Bluetooth. It has version 5.4. Let's talk about the positioning. It has GPS, GLONASS, BTS, Galileo, and QZSS. Let's talk about the NFC. It has one, and it doesn't have a radio option. It has a USB of Type-C and version 3.2. You can also use the display port 1.2 OTG. Let's talk about the feature of this same. The mobile has the sensors of fingerprint, under display, ultrasonic, accelerometer, gyro, proximity, complex, and barometer. Other than that, it has Samsung DeX, Samsung Wireless DeX, desktop experience support, circle to search. You can circle on the object to search for the thing. It has the option of the same. Even Google Assistant or Gemini app have that. If you basically have any Android mobile, you have that option right now with the Android 15. Let's talk about the battery type. So it has lithium 4000 mAh battery, and let's talk about the charging. So you can charge at 25 watts with the wired charging, and if you are going to charge wireless, then it is going to be like 15 watts. Let's talk about the other thing. So like colors, it has icy blue, mint navy, silver shadow, pink gold, coral red, blue black models. And let's talk about the price. In Indian rupees, it is going to be like 64,100 the starting price, and in US dollars it is going to be like 669, and in euros it is going to be 578. So these are the prices. And talking about the tests and performance in that test, so we have done the AnTuTu test. It has like 2193701 with a version 10 test, which is kind of good. And at the Geekbench, it is like 10050 score with the version 6, and the maximum display brightness is 1395 nits, and the active use score is 13 hours. So you can actually watch movies, play games. The average time would be around 13 hours. So this is about Samsung Galaxy S device. So if you are a single hand user and you want a phone which fit into your palm, and you want a storage of mid-range to maximum of 512 GB down below to 128 GB, you have a pretty good cameras right there, the rear end and the front one. I think Samsung Galaxy S25 is your go-to pick mobile. Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus. Okay, so if you're someone who's not going to satisfied with the little feature of Samsung Galaxy S25 and you want some extra feature in your mobile, then I would say Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus would be your best mobile to pick. Okay, let's see what this mobile has got. Let's see the specification of this mobile. Let's talk about the network technology. It has GSM, CDMA, HSPA, EVDO, LTE, and 5G. So what is the status of this mobile? It has been launched on January 22, 2025. Okay, what is the availability of this mobile? So it is available from February 3, 2025. So you can go to the shop and grab your Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus right now. Let's talk about the body dimension of this mobile. It is 158.4 into 75.8 into 7.3 mm, 6.24 into 2.98 into 0.29 inch. Okay, what's the weight of this mobile? It is 190 grams, or if you're talking about the ounce, it is 6.70. Okay, what's the build quality of this mobile? So it is a glass front and glass back built with Gorilla Glass Victus V2, right? Okay, what's the frame of this mobile? It's an aluminum frame, so you'll be having a strong grip on the both the sides. Let's talk about the SIM. It has double SIM, which is either nano SIM or eSIM. It's your choice. Okay, what is the dust and water resistant rating of this mobile? It is IPS68 dust tight and water resistant rating. Okay, you can drop your mobile in the water and it can go as deep as 1.5 meters for up to 30 minutes. So that's the limit range right there. It can withstand the water with the depth of 1.5 meter with 30 minutes of time given. Okay, what's the armor quality of this mobile? As I said before, it's an aluminum 2 frame. What's the display type of this mobile? It's a dynamic LTPO AMOLED 2x120 Hz display type with the HDR10 Plus with 2600 nits. That's a peak one. Okay, what's the size of this mobile? It's a 6.7 inch display with 91.8% of the screen to body ratio. And what's the resolution of this mobile? It comes with 1440 into 3120 pixels, which is a 4K display, and with the 19.5:9 ratio with 513 pixel per inch density. Wow, that's great actually. What's production of this mobile? As I said before, it's a Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2, and it also has an option of always on display. What's the platform? It's an Android phone. It actually obviously runs on Android 15 OS, and you can get an update for free if you're buying a Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus for 7 years. Wow, that's great. So actually you can get an update free from the Android, from the Samsung, and Samsung to you for up to Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus Android 15 to Android 22. Wow, and it is having its own UI right there, which is One UI 7 built upon the Android OS. That's the kind of every manufacturer does, right? That's cool. Okay, what's the chipset here? It has Qualcomm SMB 750 AB Snapdragon 8 Elite exclusively for Samsung Galaxy mobiles. And talking about the CPU, it has octa-core 2x4.47 GHz Orion V2 Phoenix L plus another 6x3.53 GHz Orion V2 Phoenix M dual CPU processors. Talking about the GPU, it has Adreno 830. It doesn't have an external memory card. And talking about the internal memory, it has 256 GB of storage with 12 gigs of RAM and 512 GB of storage with 12 gigs of RAM. You have like only two options right there. Talking about the primary, back and rear cameras, it has 3 cameras with 50 MP, which is a basic camera with f/1.8, 24mm wide and dual pixel PDAF, another 10MP camera which is f/2.467mm telephoto camera, and another 12MP f/2.2 13mm with a 120-degree ultra wide camera. So 3 cameras for the 3 absolute brilliant beautiful features. What are the features it has? Best face detection, LED flash, auto HDR, panorama. Okay, let's talk about the video quality of this camera. It can record on 8K with the frames of 24-30 FPS, and it also can record on 4K with 30 and 60 FPS. And talking about the full HD, which is 1080p with 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second, 120 frames per second, and 240 frames per second, and 10-bit HDR10 plus stereo sound recording with gyro EIS. Let's talk about the selfie camera or front camera. It has a single 12MP camera which f/2.2, 26mm wide, 1/3.2 inch, 1.12 gamma M dual pixel PDAF. Talking about the features, it is HDR and HDR10 plus. So you can record on the front camera with 4K with 30 and 60 FPS and full HD with 30 FPS. Talking about the sound, loudspeaker, it has one with the stereo speakers, and it doesn't have a 3.5mm audio jack. And talking about the sound quality, 32-bit with 384 kHz. Let's talk about the VLAN. It has a Wi-Fi 802.11 with ABGNAC 6E7 and tri-band Wi-Fi direct. Talking about the Bluetooth, it has version 5.4. Talking about the positioning, GPS, GLONASS, BDS, Galileo, QZSS. Talking about the NFC, it has one. It doesn't have a radio option. And talking about the USB, it has Type-C with 3.2 version, DisplayPort 1.2. Talking about the features, it has sensors, fingerprint, under display, ultrasonic, accelerometer, gyro, proximity, compass, barometer. It has a Samsung DeX feature, Samsung wireless DeX, desktop experience support, ultra wideband UWB support, and it also have a option of circle to search. And talking about the battery type, it has a lithium battery of 499 mAh, which is 4900 mAh. Talking about the charging, if you're wired, then 45 watts, and it has a capacity of 65% of the charge at 30 minutes of time. Talking about the wireless charging, you're going to be using 15 watts wireless charging, and it also has a 4.5 watt of reverse wireless charging as well. Talking about the colors, it comes with blue, mint, navy, silver, shadow, pink gold, coral red, blue, black. These are the options right there. And talking about the benchmarks and tests, and talking about the performance as well, in Antutu test, it has 2133477 benchmark with the version 10. Talking about the Geekbench benchmark, it has scored 9669 with the version 6. And talking about the prices, it comes with 84,000 4,998 in Indian rupees. And talking about the US dollars, it comes with 778 at the beginning, and talking about the euros, it comes with 739.69 for the base range, I guess so. Pretty much if you're a one-hand user with the thumb, then Galaxy S25 Plus is your go-to pick. Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. So if you're someone who want ultimate performance and you want to use the ultimate flagship mobile from Samsung, then I would suggest you to go with the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. This phone has a lot of features that even some computers doesn't have. It's the best phone and best Android device out there with a maxed out performance in gaming, in productivity, in editing, and much more. So what are the specifications of this mobile? Let's dive into it. Let's talk about the network. It has GSM, CDMA, HSPA, EVDVO, LTE, and 5G. What is the status of this mobile? It is launched on 2025 January 22. And is it available? Yes, it is available from February 3 and 2025. What's the body dimension of this mobile? It is 162.8 into 77.6 into 8.2 mm, or 6.41 into 3.06 and 0.32 inch. What's the weight of this device? It is 218 grams or 7.69 ounce. What's the build quality of this mobile? What's the build materials of this mobile? So the build quality is pretty much good because it is built with the Corning Gorilla Armor 2 glass, one of the toughest and finest glass out there, with the glass front and at the glass back Corning glass of Gorilla Victus 2. Let's talk about the frame. It has titanium frame with a grade 5. Let's talk about the SIM. I think it has a dual SIM with nano SIM or eSIM. You can use whatever you want. Let's talk about the dust and water resistant rating. It has IP68 dust, tight and water resistant. You can drop your mobile in a water up to 1.5 meter for 30 minutes and it will hold the phone without any water getting inside. Wow, that's great. Let's talk about the other feature. It has stylus because Samsung has killed the Note series, so they are going to give you stylus if you're going to buy a Ultra device. So Samsung Note has turned into Samsung Ultra, so they have given stylus for that reason. So let's talk about the display type. It has dynamic LTPO AMOLED 2x 120Hz HDR10 plus 2600 nits at the peak display. Talking about the size of the display, it is 6.9 inch with 11.6.9 centimeter to with 92.5% screen to the body ratio. Talking about the resolution, it has 4K display with 1440 into 3120 pixels with 19.5:9 ratio with a 498 pixel per inch density. Talking about the protection, it has Corning Gorilla Armor 2 glass. It has an option of always on display, and it also has D into anti-reflection coating, so you will not see a glare on your mobile. Let's talk about the platform. It's an Android device. It has Android operating system on it with the Android 15, and you can get an upgrade up to 7 major Android upgrades, like up to Android 22. It has one UI of Samsung 7 built upon Android 15. Let's talk about the chipset. It has Qualcomm SM8750AB Snapdragon 8 Elite, exclusively built for Samsung Galaxy mobiles. And talking about the CPU, it has octa-core 2x4.47 GHz Oryon V2 Phoenix L plus another 6x3.53 GHz Oryon V2 Phoenix M processors. And talking about the GPU, it has Adreno 830. Let's talk about the memory. It has a memory card slot. No, it doesn't have. Let's talk about the internal memory. It has 256 GB internal memory with the 12 gigs of RAM and 512 GB of internal memory with the 12 gigs of RAM, and woofing 1 TB memory with either 12 GB or 16 GB of RAM. That's amazing, guys. You can do whatever you want to do, which is equal to the laptop these days. Let's talk about the cameras. It has a rear camera and 3 rear cameras at the back. One would be a woofing 200 MP quad camera with f/1.7 24mm wide, 1x1.3 inch 0.6 gamma m multi-directional PDAF OIS camera, and you're also going to have another triple cameras. Yeah, you are going to have 4 cameras at the back, which means quad cameras. One is 200 MP primary and another one is 10 MP, which is a telephoto camera with f/2.4 67mm, and another one would be 50 MP camera, which is a periscope telephoto camera with f/3.4 111mm, and another one would be the ultra wide camera with 50 MP f/1.9 120 degree camera. Wow, that's nice. Let's talk about the future of this camera. It has laser autofocus, best face detection, LED flash, auto HDR, panorama. Let's talk about the video quality of the primary camera, which is 200 MP, which can shoot up to 8K with the 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second. And talking about the 4K, it's going to shoot on 30 frames, 60 frames per second, 120 frames per second. Talking about the full HD with 30, 60, 120, 240 frames per second, and 10-bit HDR, HDR10 plus stereo sound recording, gyro EIS. Talking about the front camera, single 12MP f/2.2 26mm wide, 1 by 3.2 inch, 1.12 gamma dual pixel PDAF. Talking about the future, it has HDR and HDR 10 plus. And talking about the video, it can take up to 4K 30 or 60 frames per second. It can also another video with the option of 1080 pixels with 30 frames per second. And talking about the sound, it has loudspeaker with stereo speakers, 3.5mm jack. It doesn't have one. And talking about the audio quality, 32-bit with 384 kHz, and it is tuned by AKG. Let's talk about the LAN, which is Wi-Fi 802.11 with ABG and AC6E, 7 tri-band Wi-Fi direct as well. Talking about the Bluetooth, it has one with 5.4 latest version, 82dB LE. Talking about the positioning, it has GPS, GLONASS, BDS, Galileo, QZSS, NFC. It has one. It doesn't have a radio option. Talking about the USB, it has Type-C with version 3.2 and DisplayPort 1.2 OTG. And talking about the features, it has sensor, fingerprint, under display, ultrasonic, accelerometer, gyro, prosody, MIDI, compass, barometer. And it also has other features like Samsung DeX, Samsung Wireless DeX, desktop experience support, ultra wide band UWB support, circle to search. Talking about the battery type, it has lithium 5000 mAh. Talking about the charging, with 45 watt wired charging, 65% of charge in 30 minutes. Wow, that's great. If you're talking about the wireless charging, then 15 watts wireless charging. And if you're going to do a reverse charging wireless, which is going to be 4.5 watts. Talking about the colors, it comes with titanium silver blue, titanium black, titanium white silver, titanium gray, titanium jade green, titanium jet black, titanium pink gold. And talking about the performance and tests, with the Antutu test, it scored around 2207809 with the version 10. And talking about the Geekbench, it comes with a score of 9846 with version 6. And talking about the display, 1417 nits max brightness display, and an average use time with the games, apps, productivity and everything, it probably hold around 14.5 hours. Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. Okay, so there are people who are not going to satisfied with the 6.8 inches of display. So they need even bigger display. Probably they want a mobile and also a tablet. But how to achieve this? So Samsung has come up with the brand new phone which has the Z series, which might be having fold or either split. Whatever your favorite choices are, you have it on your palm. Yes, Samsung Galaxy Z series has both the fold and the flip series. So we're gonna see about Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. So Samsung Galaxy Fold 6 is kind of a tablet mobile, which means if you open it, it's a tablet, and if you close it, it's a mobile. So it's a win-win, right? For the people who want a mobile and a tablet combined together. So this is the perfect choice. So you can do your daily tasks, whatever you do in your mobile, like sending messages, receiving emails, watching emails and everything. But if you're bored, you can watch a movie, you can play games, and you can have an extra screen right there with the opening of the Fold mobile, which will become ultimately a tablet. So it has like basically two screens. One would be like on the front and another one would be on the inside, which you open it, it will become a tablet. Wow, that's amazing. So let's see what does this phone is packed with. Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. So let's talk about the network here. It has GSM, CDMA, HSPA, EVDO, LTE and 5G support. And when did it launch? On 2024 July 10th. And the status of it is released July 24, 2024. Okay, let's talk about the dimensions. If it is unfolded, which means the single screen on the front, it has 153.5 into 132.6 into 5.6 mm, and if it is folded, it has 153.5 and 68.1 into 12.1 mm. So let's talk about the weight. So it's going to be a little heavier than the previous mobiles of Samsung Galaxy S series, because it's a foldable tablet, right? So it's going to weigh a little bit higher. So let's see. It is 239 gram, 8.43 oz. Okay, so let's talk about the build. So the glass front is made up of Gorilla Glass Victus 2 when it is folded, and it has a plastic front when it is unfolded, and behind it has a glass back of Gorilla Glass Victus 2 again, and over the edges and sides it has aluminum frame. Okay, so let's talk about the SIM. It has a nano SIM plus eSIM support, or both the SIM can be eSIM, but it supports only one nano SIM. Basically it has a dual SIM tray. You can either use a nano SIM or a eSIM on one tray and only eSIM on the second tray. Okay, let's talk about the dust and water resistant. It has IP48 dust and water resistant. And let's talk about the dust. It can hold like up to 1 millimeter of dust weightage, immersible up to 1.5 meter for 30 minutes, which means it can hold the mobile without getting any water inside it, up to 1.5 meter inside the water for up to 30 minutes of time. Okay, let's talk about the hard part, I mean armor, which is aluminum frame. And it does also have a stylus support. You can hold your phone on the left hand and you can use a stylus on the right hand and you can use it. Let's talk about the display type. So when it is folded, it has a dynamic LTPO AMOLED 2x120Hz HDR 10 plus 2600 nits to the peak. And talking about the size, if it is opened, then it might be having 7.6 inch. Wow. And 185.2 centimeter. And let's talk about the screen to body ratio. You're having like 91% of the screen. Let's talk about the resolution. It is QHD with 1856 into 2160 pixels with the 374 ppi density. Then let's talk about the display when it is folded, I mean the front display. It's a dynamic LTPO AMOLED 2x120Hz 2600 nits peak Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2 with 6.3 inch display on the front, and its resolution is HD, which is 968 into 2376 pixels 410 ppi. Let's talk about the platform. Of course, it's an Android mobile. It's going to run on Android OS. It has Android 14 and it could be upgraded to another 7 updates, like up to 21 of Android. And let's talk about the UI of Samsung, which is One UI, which is built on the top of Android, which is 6.1.1. And let's talk about the chipset. It has Qualcomm SM8 650 AC Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chipset. And talking about the CPU, 8 core 1 into 3.39 GHz Cortex into X4 and 3 into 3.1 GHz Cortex A720 and 2 into 2.9 GHz Cortex A720 and 2 into 2.2 GHz Cortex A520. Let's talk about the GPU. It has Adreno 750 1 GHz. Let's talk about the memory card slot here. It doesn't have an external memory, but it has an internal memory variants with 256 GB of internal storage and 12 gigs of RAM, or 512 GB of internal storage with 12 GB of RAM, or 1 TB of internal storage with 12 GB of RAM. And let's talk about the extra facility it has. It has UFS 4.0 version. Let's talk about the main camera. So it has a back camera option with 3 cameras. One would be the 50MP camera, which is a base camera. It's a f/1.8 23mm wide camera, and another one is 10MP f/2.466mm teleporter camera. Another one is 12MP f/2.2 123 ultra wide one. Let's talk about the features. It has LED flash, HDR, panorama. Let's talk about the video. It is 8K at 30 fps or 4K at 60 fps. Let's talk about the another option. It has a full HD of 60, 120, 240 fps or 720p at 960 fps. And let's talk about the front cam. So it has a single 4MP f/1.8 26mm wide camera, and another cover camera would be around 10MP f/2.2 24mm wide camera. And the feature is HDR, and you can take video at 4K with 30 or 60 fps or 1080 30 or 60 fps. And talking about the loudspeaker, it has one with the stereo speakers. It doesn't have a audio jack with 3.5mm, so you cannot plug in your wire here. And let's talk about the audio bitrate. It is 32-bit 384 kHz. It is tuned by AKG. And let's talk about the other options like WLAN. It has a Wi-Fi 802.11 ABGN AC6E with tri-band Wi-Fi direct options. And talking about the Bluetooth, it has one with 5th version. And let's talk about the another options like GPS, Galileo, GLONASS, BTS, QZSS. And talking about the NFC, it has one. Doesn't have a radio option. And talking about the USB, it has Type-C with 3.2, and it also has OTG. And another feature is fingerprint sensor with a side mounted accelerometer, gyro, proximity, compass, barometer, and it has Samsung DeX for the desktop experience, ultra wideband support, circle to search, and it has a 4400 mAh battery, which is disappointing here. It is less than the ultra. And talking about the charging, it has 25 watt wired. It is also disappointing here. So ultra has 45 watt. and it will be charged to 50% in 30 minutes, and 50 watt of wireless, 4.5 watt of reverse wireless charging. Talking about the colors, it has navy, silver shadow, pink, black, white. And let's talk about the tests and performance in the test. And talking about the Antutu, it has 1608744 score with the version 10. And let's talk about the Geekbench test. It has 6757 version 6 test. And on a daily usage, it will hold up to 11.5 hours. Wow, that's actually nice, pretty impressive, right? Let's talk about the final phone in our list, which is Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6. Okay, so many of you are actually interested in buying a flip phone, which is old fashioned and also it's a vintage one. Probably many people are fans of flip phone, but here is a new option from the Galaxy. You can buy a phone. When you use the flip option, it will become a big large screen, which is not like a fold but half of the fold, right? So pretty much it's a half a phone which is little, and when you open it, it will be like a full phone. This might be for people who want to have a cute little phone on their pocket, who doesn't want a very big phone to carry. So I guess it might be the option for them. So let's talk about the specs here. So let's talk about the network technology. It has GSM, CDMA, HZPA, EVDO, LTE and 5G support. It is launched on 2024 July 10. And let's talk about the status. It is released on July 24, 2024. And talking about the body dimensions, when it is unfolded, it is 165.1 into 71.9 into 6.9 mm, and when you're talking about the folded, then it is 85.1 into 71.9 into 14.9 mm. The total weight is 187 grams or 6.60 ounce. Talking about the build, plastic front unfolded, glass back, Gorilla Glass Victus 2 aluminum frame. Talking about the SIM, it is nano SIM plus eSIM, and you can also use eSIM plus eSIM. So basically in dual SIM you can use eSIM or one nano SIM, right? Let's talk about the dust and water resistant. It has IP48 and it can withstand water with 1.5 meter depth for 30 minutes, and it has armor aluminum frame. And talking about the display type, it has foldable dynamic LTPO AMOLED 2 into 120Hz HDR10 plus 2600 nits at the peak. And talking about the size, it has 6.7 inches 101.5 cm2 with 85.5 screen to body ratio. Talking about the resolution, it has QHD with 180 into 2640 pixels with 426 pixel per inch density. And let's talk about the other display, which is the cover display. It is also Super AMOLED 60Hz 1600 nits with 3.4 inch of little tiny display with a 720 into 748 pixel with a Gorilla Glass Victus 2, which is 306 pixel per inch. Let's talk about the platform. It's an Android mobile. It runs on Android 14, and so there is no mention of upgrades here. So I probably think it might not get the 7 year of upgrades, or it might get. I'm not sure about that, but let's hope so. And let's talk about the One UI, which is Android's UI built on Android, which is built upon the Android by Samsung, which is Samsung One UI with 6.1.1. And let's talk about the chipset. It has Qualcomm SM8650 Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 exclusively made for Samsung Galaxy devices. And let's talk about the CPU. It has 8 core 1 into 3.39 GHz Cortex 4 and 3 into 3 1. GHz Cortex A720 and 2 into 2.9 GHz Cortex A720 and 2 into 2.2 GHz Cortex A520. So it basically has 8 core processor. And let's talk about the GPU. It has Adreno 750 1 GHz processor. It doesn't have an external memory. Talk about the internal. It has like 3 options, 3 variants: 128 GB with a 12 GB of RAM, and 256 GB with 12 GB of RAM, 512 GB of gigabytes with 12 GB of RAM. Let's talk about the main camera. It has like dual camera with 50 MP wide and 12 MP ultra wide, and it has a LED flash and HDR panorama options as well. You can take 4K video at 3060 fps, 1080 pixel video with 60, 120, 240 fps, 720 pixel video at 960 fps, and HDR10 plus support is there. Let's talk about the front cam. It has a 10 MP of wide camera. Let's talk about the feature. It has HDR and 4K at 30 or 60 fps. It has a loudspeaker. It has a stereo speakers. Doesn't have a 3.5mm audio jack or 32-bit by 384K HZ audio is there. Talking about the WLAN, it has Wi-Fi 802.11, ABG NAC 6E and tri-band Wi-Fi direct. It has a 5.3 version of Bluetooth, and talking about the positioning, it has GPS, Galileo, GLONASS, BDS and QZSS. It has an NFC, it doesn't have a radio option. It has a USB Type-C 3.2 version with OTG. It has a future sensors, fingerprint, side-mounted accelerometer, gyro, proximity, compass, barometer, circle to stretch option. It has a 4000 mAh battery with 25 watts of wired charging, 50% in 30 minutes, 15 watts of wireless charging, 4.5 watts of reverse charging. Talking about the color, it has yellow, silver shadow, mint, blue, black, white, beige. So this is about Samsung Galaxy Z Flip, and if you're an active user, it may charge from 100 to 0 in 10.5 hours. So you can use it for 10.5 hours. So I have given a detailed explanation about Samsung Galaxy S models like Samsung Galaxy S25, S25 Plus and Ultra. And if you're a foldable phone fan, then Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6, or if you're a flip phone fan, then Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6 is your kind of go and buy mobile. So let's talk about the prices of these mobiles right now. And talking about the price of these mobiles, let's start with Samsung Galaxy S25 pricing. The 128GB variant costs around $799.99 in US dollars and 899 euro in UK, and 5800 Chinese yen in China, and 2938 AED in UAE, and 64,460 or 64,690 in Indian rupees. So let's talk about the 256GB variant of Samsung Galaxy S25. Then it costs around 859.9 in US dollars, 650 euros, 6,235 in Chinese yen, 3,156 in AED, 80,999 in Indian rupees. And let's talk about the Samsung Galaxy S25 512GB variant. It costs around 959.99 US dollars and 1,009 euro, 6,960 Chinese yen, 3,523 AED, 92,999 Indian rupees. Now let's talk about the Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus prices. So it has like a major three variants, which is 128GB, 256GB and 512GB. So the base variant 128GB has a price of around 899.99 US dollars or 999 euro or 6,800 Chinese yen or 3,040 AED or 74,690 Indian rupees. And talking about the Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus 256GB variant, it has 999.99 US dollars, 1,149 euros, 7,250 Chinese yen, 3,673 AED, 99,999 Indian rupees. And let's talk about the Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus 512GB variant, 1,119.99 US dollars or 1,249 euros or 8,120 Chinese yen or 4,110 AED or 1,11,999 Indian rupees. Let's talk about the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra pricing. So when we talk about the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, it has like three variants, which is 256GB, 512GB, and that's it, I guess. And it also has 1TB variant. Yeah. So talking about the 256GB variant, it has 1,299.99 US dollars, 1,449 euros, 9,425 Chinese yen, 5,099 AED, 1,29,999 Indian rupees. And Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra 512GB comes with 1,419.99 US dollars, 1,549 euros, 10,295 Chinese yen, 5,211 AED, 1,41,999 Indian rupees. And if you're talking about the 1TB variant of Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, it comes with 1,659.99 US dollars, 1,749 euros, 12,035 Chinese yen, AED, if you're asking, it is 6,092 AED and 1,65,999 Indian rupees. Let's talk about the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 pricing. So it has like 256GB variant, 512GB variant and 1TB variant. Talking about the 256GB variant, it has 1,899.99 US dollars or 1,999 euros or 13,767 Chinese yen or 6,999 AED or 1,64,999 Indian rupees. And if you're talking about the 512GB variant, it has 2,019.99 US dollars or 2,099 euros or 14,645 Chinese yen or 7,413 AED or 1,70,999 Indian rupees. If you're talking about 1TB variant, it has 2,259.99 US dollars, 2,299 euro, 16,383 Chinese yen, 8,294 AED, 2,999 Indian rupees. Let's come to the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6 pricing. And if you're talking about 256GB, it has 1,099 US dollars or 1,199 euros or 7,999 Chinese yen or 4,099 AED or 1,09,999 Indian rupees. If you're talking about 512GB variant, then it might be 1,219.99 US dollars, 1,319 euros or 8,999 Chinese Chinese yen or 4,477 AED or 1,21,999 Indian rupees. If you talk about the pricing, these are the prices available right now. It might change in the coming days. So these are the prices of Samsung Galaxy S25, Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus, or Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, or Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6, or Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6. So you know the prices, you know the product. So which Samsung mobile among these is your favorite and what variant you're gonna choose? Leave the thought under comment section. And thanks for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to the OctoTS channel and turn on the notification and hit the bell icon to all, and like this video. And what video or what mobile comparison you want next, leave the same thought under comment section. See you in another video. Bye bye, take care.